Hey there, it's Shauna. I hope you're doing great. This is your weekly astrology forecast for the week of November 14th. And this week is all about returning to your sensuality. So I'm really excited to share with you why, how to use this energy, and I have a few tips for you to really harness the energy for this week. So this week we start off on Monday with a full moon in Taurus, and Taurus is all about sensuality. Taurus loves beautiful things and things that are delicious and smell amazing and all of that good stuff. Taurus is very much sensory oriented. But before we talk about that, I want to share with you what's happening with Neptune this week. So Neptune is doing some interesting things, and Neptune is a planet that moves very slowly. So its effects are more subtle, but when it does do something, it's good to just pay attention to. So we're looking at Neptune as a broader theme, energy that's a little bit more subtle, but it informs things that have been happening over the past few months, and then we'll go into the full moon on Monday. So Neptune is the planet that rules over spirituality and dreams and higher vision and idealistic visions. People, when they think about spirituality in astrology, they typically look to Neptune. And this is true, but Neptune is also related to disillusionment and dissolving boundaries. And Neptune can also lead to misunderstandings and even deceit in a certain way. And this is because Neptune dissolves things. If that's just one thing that you need to know about Neptune, it is that it dissolves whatever it touches. So things get a little bit murky. It's like, it would be like if you had a beautiful watercolor drawing that you had just made, and then you poured water over it. Neptune would be pouring water over it. It would just like get really fuzzy and murky, and you're like, what is, like, I don't even know what this is. Is this a boat? Is it a fish? Is it a person? I don't know. So that's kind of the vibe of what's happening this week with Neptune, because Neptune is stationing direct. Neptune has been retrograde since June 13th this year. So again, it moves very slowly, so it's a long retrograde. So majority of the summer with Neptune retrograde, there's been this internalizing of dissolving. And this can manifest in a variety of different ways, but it may look like a deepening of your spirituality, a deepening of understanding things within yourself over this whole entire summer while Neptune has been retrograde. It could also be dissolving psychological patterns inside of your brain. And often when something on the inside changes, something on the outside changes too. So with this week, Neptune stationing direct, that means it's moving forward. And so that means that all of this internal work that you've been doing and all of this, these things that have been shifting and changing on the inside have a chance now to move outward, have a chance to affect your external reality. On top of this, Mercury, which is your mind, Mercury is the planet of communication and sharing ideas, will be squaring Neptune. And so when your mind and your thought process comes into Neptune, which is dissolving, it can make it so that things are maybe a little bit confusing or murky. And so what I would suggest this week is to avoid committing concretely to things, because the details are not going to be fleshed out entirely. I think this is an amazing week to do any kind of self-study, spiritual study, self-exploration, meditation, anything where you're using this energy for spiritual seeking and not necessarily for implementing something, because again, things are a little bit murky. So things may change or things may not be as you think that they are. That's very Neptunian. Again, Neptune can lead to disillusionment. And so we want to avoid that. We want you to go inside and to discover things that way. So that's a big theme this week. And then what's really beautiful is that we get to ground this energy with Neptune that's happening with the full moon in Taurus on Monday. And Taurus is like the ultimate earth sign. It's a fixed earth sign. So it's stable, it's sustaining. Taurus is like an unmovable tree. It's fucking strong and it's not going anywhere. So Taurus people, they're very solid. They are very set. And we get to experience this energy with the full moon in Taurus. So this full moon is really asking you to return to the earth, to return to your body, what it is that feels good in your body, and most importantly, to return to pleasure, to return to sensuality. And this doesn't have to mean sexuality, although it could, but it means to do things and to experience things with all of your senses. And so what this can look like at a practical level is to really enjoy eating amazing food and spending good time with friends, and maybe even like getting massage or something like that, but really like enjoying your bodily experience. And I feel that that's so important for this week, just based on all of the crazy shit that's happening out in the world right now. And we're still within the Scorpio lunar cycle. So Scorpio exposes the truth. And sometimes when we're within the Scorpio lunar cycle, things can be a little bit cutting. It can be like an all or nothing, a love or hate kind of energy. And so what's really beautiful is that this full moon in Taurus is asking us to just let everything simmer down a little bit, to return to the beauty that's all around us, and that things can sometimes, just for a moment or two, they can be really simple, and that it doesn't have to be so harsh, that you don't have to be so harsh inside of yourself and then externally as well. So that being said, I have 3 tips for you to really harness the energy of this week. So the first one is to do a ritual for this full moon in Taurus. Again, the full moon is on Monday, but you can do your ritual whenever you want, whenever feels good to you. Even if it's just like having a really amazing dinner with good friends, that's an amazing Taurus full moon ritual. Or do a little meditation, like a body sensory meditation. Go out in nature and feel your feet on the soil and stuff like that. Like anything like that, just to really honor this pivot point, which is the full moon. So that's number 1, do a ritual for the full moon. The second thing is to allow yourself to imagine and to visualize things. So again, this goes back to the Neptune energy. This is really good for having like these big, amazing visions. So focus on that. Avoid implementing. I mean, like, you got to do what you got to do. Life is life, right? So if you need to implement something, of course, do it. But I encourage you to lean more towards visualizing things. So that's number 2. Focus on visualizing, not implementing. And then the third thing I feel is the most important this week. So because Neptune is all about dissolving, and because Taurus is asking you to return to your body, I want you to notice what it is in your life that is dissolving. And so that may seem a little bit abstract, but there's always something that's dissolving, right? Like, there are jobs, people, places, things, like living situations. Things are always in flux. And so at this point, when Neptune is shifting, there may be something that in a bigger way is dissolving. And this might be inside of yourself, like a behavior pattern that's dissolving, or it may be an actual physical situation, like a person, place, or thing. And so sometimes we can fear the dissolving. It can be scary to let something fall away. But I encourage you to be really curious about what it is that's dissolving, and know that it's dissolving for a reason. There's something that is guiding you. And so when you look at it with like, oh, why is this happening, or how is this happening? It takes a little bit of the sting out of it, and it makes it easier to integrate. Because with the dissolution, with the dissolving, there's something new that will come in. So that's the third thing, is to be really curious about what it is that is falling away in your life. So those are my tips for you. That's this week in the astrology. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, leave me a comment, let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling, and share it with a friend. I love getting these messages out to as many people as possible. So I'm sending you so much love and wishing you an amazing week, and I will talk to you soon. Namaste. Mwah.